Have Sophia here, who's going to talk about the magic of human centricity. So please, round of applause for Sophia.
Thank you and good morning. Now we all know that we need to have a catchy title in order to be picked for next year, right? So I'm going to talk about the magic of human centricity today and how that can completely change experiences. I think you all know what this is. It's an MRI scanner. So just a quick show of hands, how many of you have done an MRI scan? Oh, quite a lot of you. Then you know that you have to lay completely still and that the machine itself makes a lot of noise and it can be quite unnice or unpleasant for some people to be in a very tight space. So this machine is designed by a guy called Doug Dietz. He works at GE Healthcare and he spent over 2 years on designing this machine. He was so proud, like this was actually one of the best machines out there. And when it reached the hospital, he went there to see how it was actually working in the hospitals. So he went down to the hospitals, he was super proud, ready to celebrate, talked to the doctors, and at this point he was at the children's hospital. And then the doctor were like, yeah, we can talk in a bit, but you need to step outside because we have a patient coming in. So he stepped outside, he looked into the hallway, and he saw a family coming down towards the room. And the little girl was crying. She was terrified. And Doug started to feel like not that great, right? He was ready to celebrate, and here comes this family, and the parents tried to comfort that kid. And then he realized, when he spoke with the people at the hospital, that the majority of the kids were super anxious. 80% of the kids who was going to do an MRI scan had to be sedated. And the doctors and the nurses had to handle a lot of parents and kids that were super scared, super anxious, and he thought they are probably thinking about insurance and how to get money, etc., etc. But they were actually just handling their emotions. So as Doug was ready to celebrate, he instead asked himself, how can I change this experience? So he actually turned to the ones who were actually visiting the hospital, and that was the kids. And together with them and people in the hospital, he looked into how can we create this a better experience. So what they did was that they looked into how can we make this an adventure, and how can we put the machine as part of that adventure. So they created these various rooms, having the MRI scan being a submarine, a canoe, a pirate ship. And they started to send out invitations to the kids, like party invitations, prior to the scan, having them invited to this party. They even had part of the adventure going out in the hallway, like stones that you could step on. And he noticed that the kids were like, Mom, Dad, come on, you need to walk on the stones. You cannot be in the river. So when the kids then did the MRI scan, and they were told to lay still, because if you lay still, you will see the fish jump over you. And the kids were like, so what was the result of this? Well, the customer satisfaction went up 92%. And in terms of sedations, almost no kids were sedated. And they even had kids asking, can I come back tomorrow? So, what is it that I'm talking about? It's about understanding not only the product and the service, because that could be amazing, but what is the context that it actually exists in? And how do we make sure that we understand all aspects of that experience? So this is a journey and how it looked. So what happened before was that they were informed about what was going to happen. They were a little bit nervous, and then they came, and yeah, it was not that pleasant scan, right? But just by looking at what happens before, what happens during, and what happens after, and what can we do in order to improve that experience, and identify those moments that are truly painful and make sure how can we improve that experience. And sometimes it's not the product and the service itself, but sometimes it might be. So what I would like you to take from this is truly empathy. So how can we empathize with the ones using our products, services, and what is their experience like? What does the context look like? And how do we listen to them? Not listen in order to be like, yeah, I already know, I know everything about this product, but truly listen. Can you really step into the shoes of that other person and try to experience what they are experiencing? Be out there, see what is happening in the real world, how is it being used, and how does the reality look like? The second thing is zooming out, so looking at it from a journey perspective. So really zooming out, right? So what is happening in that context? What is happening before, what is happening during, and what is happening after? And lastly, which are those moments that truly matters? And what does that mean? Sometimes it is making it more experiential, right? So really, people want to spend time, it's nice. And sometimes it's about saving time and making it super efficient. But are we aware of the moments that truly matters throughout the journey? And again, how do we tell the stories? So even though that we visualize that journey, how do we make sure that we share the story so that the other ones can feel the experience they are feeling? This is one of my favorite quotes, Maya Angelou, and she says, people don't always remember what you did. People don't always remember what you said, wrong order, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And just think about if there is a product, a brand, a service that you truly like or love, and you cannot wait to tell your friends, family, how good it is. Did it have anything to do with how it made you feel, or the people working for the company made you feel? And the same thing goes with, have you ever left a specific brand? Right? Being super angry, speaking with friends, family, never ever buy from them. Did it have anything to do with how they made you feel? Yes. And this can also be applied to the people that we work with, right? So how do we make sure that we have that understanding of what is the experience that we want to provide, what is the value that we want to give? How does the reality look like, and how do we give that right prerequisites to the people actually delivering that experience? And how do we make people feel? If you want to get in touch, my name is Sofia Bredenberg. I work with customer experience and employee experience development. And here's a QR code to my LinkedIn. And a big thank you.